Somebody else parking in there who doesn't have a private parking, I guess. But I mean, honestly, I would like to see that stay in, at least in one of the parking lots that we have downtown, because now they have got these things that a car can go from one side of the continent to the other in multiple directions, exclusively by these things. And you know, it might be a bit of a niche market at first, and it may not seem to have any sort of big buy-in. It would be kind of nice for us to get on the ground floor for change versus trying to be innovative behind the fact. Like, let's look at 6 best practices and we'll say we're innovative by doing it. I mean, it's up to council. I know if you really don't think it's necessary, you're moving ahead or trying to do that, that's fine. But it comes right down there again with this: what do we want Grand Bend, or what do we want our municipality to look like in the future? 30 years, baby booms are going to be dead. Then we're going to be in for, after a boom, there's going to be a bust. It's going to be a baby bust. All right? So we're going to have infrastructure, we're going to have less people, property values will drop, all the rest. We've got to have something around here for us to be able to make it worthwhile for people to come to Grand Bend. What do you want to do? We've got to look at that, we've got to talk to the people, we've got to talk to the people about a vision a little bit farther than 5 years or until I'm dead. Right? So, I mean, I don't know. I know I'm getting a little off track here with this thing with the electric car, but this is a good example. This is a sign of the future. It's going to change the way that we do business and everything in another 20, 30 years. We're not going to go to a gas station eventually, or not for the same thing. So
this was
you want to defer it for a year? Well, I'm okay with deferring it, but I just don't want it to disappear.
I'll change my word again.
I don't want it to fall off the back. And this might give us a chance to have a discussion in these smaller communities as to what the hell we want it to look like, right? Or the next council.
Councillor McGuire.
As this is an emerging technology, I'm sure back in the day they didn't give away free gas when the automobile came out. I know this company is actually approaching other businesses around town, Grand Bend, to put it in. So it's going to be a business-driven thing, and for the municipalities to give away for free, I mean, we'd be probably better off to give away $6,500 in free gas to get people in town versus $6,500 in free electricity.
Actually,
Councillor Russell.
Yeah, I like the idea of deferring it with a little bit more full staff report about it as a longer term issue. I think the fact of the matter is topping up, that was really well said. Like it really becomes that. I was talking to my son-in-law about this. He commutes down in Etobicoke, and he commutes this perfect distance, and he was thinking for his new vehicle. And one of the choices was to buy, what do they call EV, right? And he doesn't want to do it. And because he's just to do the 2 ways, or commute back, he's just on that edge. He could get caught out in 401 or something, right? And the reality is he was considering, it mathematically made sense. He was going to get a $6,000 rebate from the province, I think, on the car. It's a nascent science. It's a technology, but I don't think we should put this to bed. I think this is something that we should be discussing strategically, longer term, because if you look at topping up, I think that's really going to be the issue. Downtown, maybe each downtown that we have, Port Franks, doesn't matter if they're Wash, each of them have to have a topping. Well, Forest, we always talk about Forest, but I just want some neutral places to speak of. But anyways, the reality is that's probably the real issue, that they can top up before they've just been up to Grand Bend and they don't think they can quite make it back to Forest. They pop into Port Franks, have a beer, top up at the same time. They get topped up all the time. And I used to go to Grand Bend for a charge years ago. I mean,
Councillor Wadsworth.
You need a motion, Mr. Mayor, to defer this from 2015.
No, staff will have that as the direction.
I think Councillor McGuire makes a lot of sense in terms of, and I think Councillor Underwood and Russell does as well. I think we need to have this discussion on all of our communities, what we want to look like. But I think Councillor McGuire makes a good point. This is a commercial venture, and I can see the gas station doing it, or they should do it. They're smart.
Or a bar.
A bar. Well.
Why not?
Okay. Staff will deal with it. I know the Economic Development Committee talked about it. Thought that I think they were very supportive of it as a way of the future and something that could build on. But we'll see where it goes. Okay. Community requests for capital Capital items is the next one. The Nature Trail Committee, this is the,
I suggested 2,000.
these are the two parking lots and, that we talked about, Richardson Drive and Outer Drive. Everyone want to do the questions? We've got further little information on that, Councillor Underwood.
Well, we're talking about a worthy organization that gets things done for the minimum amount of money. I think this is money wisely spent, it's well spent to an organization that's going to do a hell of a lot of work for really $5,000. Like we put in a little bit there, but they're just going to keep on trucking. And then we got somewhere for people to start parking, and more people might get more interested in it. We might be able to build it up a bit more.
This complements our master plan on recreation and trail development and all that. It's ties in. Councillor Scott.
I'm for it too, Councillor Underwood, but I just thought that if we did one year that was set, and then one the next year when they've done more work on the Upper Wash, because they're doing the phase 3 fragmites, which is quite loaded there, and they're working right now on getting that central area in the Upper Wash brought up to snuff with the trails that they put in and things. So I just thought that one year and one the next, because they're not finished in Upper Wash yet. That's all.
Councillor Bonston.
Yeah, I'm going to echo Councillor Underwood's comments, and this is your ward, you know what's happening down there. That's your recommendation. I think the group would be fine with that. I think you've said when people work that hard, they just want to know it's on the radar, and it makes sense to do one of them next year because there are outstanding projects, then that's what we should consider.
Councillor Russell.
Yeah, and I think what they've done from the get-go is they haven't asked for a lot, and I think what they did is they wanted to get these trails up to, I don't know what the term would be, snuff. They did a lot of work on these two trails. Really well, and the trail markers, etc. So then they asked, once they got that done, now we need a few parking spots to delineate. And I think that's sort of how that group has been working all along. They're very well planned. I think the communication that goes on with Brent's department and them in the future, then those type of things that Councillor Scott's talking about, obviously we can coordinate those things. But I think you're going to get more of these asks for us to do the infrastructure at the front end of the trails. And they're working with other partners to do the trails themselves. So there's all kinds of partnerships going on.
Deputy Mayor Daly.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And then there's the second part of the staff reports that suggests that we support, in principle, their plan to upgrade the abandoned CN railway line in 2017. And I think it's a very reasonable ask. I think everyone's looking forward to that project continuing to move forward as well.
Councillor Scott.
The other thing that's happening with the trail group is they're going to start a fundraise for Huron Road, the bridge, the old Watson property. So they're going to start to look for doing that. I think there's already, if I recall, some money in the bank, and I personally gave them a donation to start it off that evening. So I think that the fact that Port Franks has already got the one trail set, the fact that once that Watson Bridge goes in, we'll already have this section of road in like this will be two separate type trails that they can use. But I think that would be good. And the other thing that could happen is we could find that we have a surplus of money halfway through the year and decide that we need to spend it. We could spend the other and put in parking lot somewhere else too. So you never know what'll happen, Dave. Maybe they'll fundraise for it.
I'm sure that will.
Okay.
That'll look at glass half full.
Staff have thoughts on that? Okay. Forest BIA, they're requesting $5,000 for Christmas lights. Councillor Scott?
Is the Forest BIA going to put in $2,500 of their own to match it? So this is actually a $5,000 decoration thing with $2,500 coming from the BIA.